We've all heard the many predictions about the job market that our students in our classes today will be entering in the next 5 to 20 years. The 2018 World Economic Forum report on the future of jobs said that by 2022, that's right, 2 years from now, not 20 years down the road, there's going to be a significant shift in the skills required to perform most jobs. Sit with that for a minute. This isn't the same reminder from their previous report that we're preparing students for jobs that don't even exist yet. These jobs exist, and 2 years from now, they will require vastly different skill sets than they do right now. That means companies need to invest heavily in reskilling and upskilling their current employees, not to mention the ones they will be hiring, unless we shift what and how we are teaching. The Skills of the Future report, which was published by the Economist Intelligence Unit, found that while technology is changing how we teach, education systems are only keeping up with the transformation rather than leading it. Our students are behind the tech curve at graduation. How can we meet this challenge? How can we possibly anticipate what these needs will be, upskill ourselves, revise our curricula, and redesign our instruction? It's daunting, right? I mean, it's not as simple as rolling out one-to-one or BYOD programs. Still, many schools do roll out tech devices in much the same way that a car dealer preps you to drive off the lot in a new car. Here are the cool features. Push this button and it warms your bum. Stray out of your lane and it shakes the steering wheel. Try to merge lanes with a car in your blind spot and alarms are going to sound. And all of these features are cool. They're intended to make us better, at least safer drivers. But do we have the right mindset for maximizing the potential of these new tools? What really happens? Well, if you're like me, at first I was distracted by all the flashing warnings while I was driving. Then I became incensed that I'm a better driver than this car is giving me credit for being. Then I looked at the manual to see if I could turn some of them off, and then I resigned myself to this interactive relationship with a car and went on driving much as I always had. Statistically safer, maybe, although driving is still driving. So if the tech tool isn't the key to preparing our students to be the employees of tomorrow, what is? I argue that it's mindset, and mindset is born of culture. Take Google as an example. Their mission is to organize the world's information, make it accessible and useful. And at Google for Education, their mission goes another step to leverage this information access to expand learning for everyone. Love them or not, we as educators share Google's mission so we can learn something from their culture. Innovation at Google rests on several pillars, and technology is only one of them. Culture is another. As more and more schools adopt technology initiatives, one thing is clear. When it comes to preparing teachers for this shift, it is essential to build culture before capacity. Imagine going to the doctor for a physical, and she tells you that your cholesterol is high, you're overweight, and at your age, those factors put you at increased risk for significant, if not deadly, health complications. So if you don't want to end up with a heart attack in the near future, she warns you, you need to start exercising and improve your diet. Sounds simple. She has identified a serious and impending issue. She has told you that you have the capacity to do what's necessary to avoid this fate. You can do it. Now you just have to do it. But you really love steak. You grew up mopping up red meat juices with bread and eating it. And of course, with your steaks, you love a baked potato slathered with butter and sour cream. Can you remember the last time you exercised? Probably not since you had kids, and now they're in their 20s. It's been a while. And your knees hurt, and so does your back. And you work long hours, and you spend a lot of time at restaurants with clients and coworkers, which brings us full circle to the stakes. And that's the relationship between culture and capacity. Without a different mindset, we understand what we are told to do. We may even buy into the necessity of doing it. So, why, for so many people, do they actually have to suffer the heart attack before they change their mindset? Why do some teachers insist that students print out essays that they can share as Google Docs or submit to Google Classroom? Why are schools banning cell phones rather than empowering students to be content creators and teaching them to self regulate? Here's why: culture is blocking them from maximizing capacity. We can't possibly know what the workplace skill demands for our students will be. Still, we are in partnership with our students' future employers, and we must prepare our students to work and thrive in the cultures of their future, cultures of innovation. We do this by investing in the cultures at our schools. Evidence of a school's culture can be found in the organizational and power structures of the school, in the symbols, routines, and rituals prevalent in the community, and a culture of innovation prevails when the infrastructure fosters curiosity, agency, risk-taking, and collaboration. Let's start with curiosity. What does it look like in action? Maybe it's the barely contained giddy energy of a toddler for whom each day is an adventure. Maybe it's the frenzy of a heated scavenger hunt or the rapt attention of an audience to a storyteller. In all its forms, curiosity is a desire to know or discover something. So let's imagine a school where the routines of the day and the artifacts around the building inspire this kind of wonder. Let's imagine a school where QR codes are selectively and strategically placed around the building. There's such a simple tool. Open the camera app on your phone and scan. You don't know what's waiting for you when you scan, and you won't know unless you do. Let me be clear. I don't mean QR codes used as gimmicks. I mean ones that are used to provide information people might not know they want or need until they unlock it. Look, if street art in New York City can include QR codes, we can invite members of our learning communities to scan codes that provide information, invite them to games, include them in events, you name it. And curiosity isn't just for cats and kids. Now imagine the ritual of monthly faculty meetings leveraged to ignite curiosity. How did you react to my mention of faculty meetings? That reaction says something about your school's culture. Let's face it, if we're having a meeting, any meeting, it should be to satisfy the attendees' need to know or discover something. How might your next meeting be transformed if you received this invitation to it? To further our work on our district goal of increasing student-centered instruction, this month's meeting will focus on assessing for learning when students are each doing different projects during a unit. Please use this form to submit questions you have about this topic or this pedagogy. The resources discussed at the meeting will be curated to address your need to know. If we reframe the rituals in our schools to engage students' and teachers' curiosity, then we also begin to build our agency over learning. Having agency, knowing that I am empowered and valued as a professional learner and decision maker, that I am trusted and regarded as competent, well-intentioned, and purposeful, is a potent element of how I experience my school's culture. I own my learning and I initiate change, I problem solve, and I realize my creative potential. The world is changing rapidly, and I am expected to adapt and adjust, not just in response to those changes, but in anticipation of them. If I don't have agency over the actions I take, like my professional learning, then I am stuck in stasis and rapidly fall behind. When my potential as a leader, not my credentialing, instead, my mindset is validated and energized, I become a community asset. And as an asset to my learning community, I become a risk taker, willing to push the boundaries of my comfort zone. I know that a black belt is just a white belt who never quit, who got knocked on her butt a lot and still got up to train so eventually she could stand on her feet and her challenger would be on the mat. I grew up infatuated with the space race. I'm actually too young to remember the moon landing. Instead, I listened to the stories my parents told and was amazed that my dad went off to work each day to help build Space Telescope. I was captivated by the HBO series From the Earth to the Moon. So many risks, so many errors, some deadly, and without those calculated risks, failures, and recalibrations, Apollo 11 would not have successfully landed on the moon so two people could disembark and lope across its dusty surface. Think for a moment. What is your school's moonshot mission? And what is your role at mission control? What energy, ideas, perspectives, skills, and leadership potential do you bring to that team? When do you, no matter your role in your school, rise to the opportunity to help your team to create a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts? Cultures of innovation live in possibilities despite constraints. People working in a place with an innovative culture fall in love with problems because of the potential unleashed when solutions are found. They try new approaches despite the possibility of failure, even public failure, because out of failure emerges growth. And because when they fail, they are supported in determining what went well, what needs to change, and how to re-implement. Without failure, there is no learning for teachers or students. People working in a culture of innovation strive to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world, while recognizing that they can't possibly know all, master all, or teach all by themselves. They trust everyone else in the room to share in the growth, to do their part, to support the whole, to be an asset in a collaborative partnership. Given tools with no reason or desire to use them, an initiative falls flat. With a mission, a purpose, a shared desire to be innovative, to live in beta, then students will emerge from our schools prepared to be the flexible thinkers and creative problem solvers their future employers need. And teachers will seek learning opportunities to expand their capacity. They will want it, which is more powerful than needing it. In wanting, there is agency. Needing is about being reactionary. When we live and work in a culture of innovation, we crave the capacity to do and be more. I am 51 years old. While my eyesight is fading and my reflexes might be slowing, I still have lots of road trips and travels in my future. In this context, the almost self-driving car is not my enemy. It is the gateway to my continued journey. If we build cultures of innovation in our schools, if we nurture and protect the curiosity, agency, risk-taking, and collaborative spirit of the members of our learning communities, they will be clamoring for the capacity to meet the challenges of this rapidly changing world. If we build the culture, we will command the capacity. Thank you.